What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the LA Soccer Hub Show. It's 2023, man. It's been a minute since I've done a podcast. Took a break, had to get away. Last season, to be honest with you, it was just a long season. You know, being able to cover both teams, it was just a lot. So I needed a break. But now, starting off the first podcast here of this year, right before the month of January ends, a lot has been going on. You know, a lot of stuff happens. A lot of players have moved. Moved on. Big news coming out, obviously the MLS, the MLS and Apple TV deal. And also, the way MLS is opening up the season, you got LAFC versus LA Galaxy, which we already knew before the 2022 season ended. But it's going to be fireworks. But leading up to that, so many things have happened with both clubs. Obviously, LAFC ended up winning the championship. LA Galaxy ended up losing to LAFC on the path there. But something that kind of has taken over social media, Twitter, when it comes to here at the LA market is a lot of fans, especially with the Galaxy, are very frustrated with how things have gone, the leadership, and now fans are planning to boycott. Supporter groups collectively have decided to boycott all games until Chris Klein is out as president of the club, which is surprising because typically, when you think of football, you think of soccer, whatever you want to call it, it's the supporters are what make the atmosphere of the game so exciting. And what this makes it so much more drastic is that the home opening game is at the Rose Bowl where the Galaxy used to play. They used to call it at home. And the Galaxy made this big old promotion and everything, to get everybody hype. Everybody was hype. Everybody is hype. But there's some things going on with the LA Galaxy that the fans don't agree with. And today we have here with me one of the supporters here that's been with the club for a while, has been a supporter of the club, been a fan of the club. We have Andrew Alesana. He's 35 years old. He's president of LARS, which is one of the supporter groups for the LA Galaxy. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Theo. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. I know you had reached out to me. I know a lot of things. I've been seeing a lot of things on Twitter and everything. First of all, just tell us a little bit about you, how long you've been supporting the team, how long you've been part of the president of LARS, and then we'll get into everything else.
I started coming to games. My first game was in 2005. I was still in high school, and we actually came with my high school soccer team. And I sat with Lars in that game. I knew about Lars previously. I had some friends that had gone, their older brothers that had gone, and sat with Lars. And, had season tickets as soon as I could in 2007. I've been a season ticket holder ever since. I've been in Lars ever since, and I've been the president of Lars since 2020. But I've been in leadership basically since leadership existed, since 2010, 2011.
Nice. No, look, you one that when I walked around, I've always seen you been interactive, been part of the club, been part of the activities and everything. Obviously now with what's transpired these last 2 weeks, how did this conversation come about with you and the rest of the supporters to collectively agree on not going to the games? Because that Rose Bowl game, that home opening game, it was a big thing. I think everybody was looking forward to that. How did you guys come to the conclusion to be like, you know what, we need to come together and put a stand to this because we don't like what's going on with our club?
Well, back in December when the cheating or Pavone roster rule breaking, whatever you want to call it, when that happened, I discussed with two other presidents, other supporters groups. At the time, Angel City Brigade was still going through like leadership change, and they still haven't had their votes, so we didn't, have that person in the loop. But we had spoken and we had said, this is like unacceptable. We need to do something. This is just embarrassing. It's gotten to a point where like the galaxy's become embarrassing. And we were like all in agreement. Something needed to be done, but we need to show out for the Rose Bowl game. Like we have to show up. That's our, it's our in-city rival. We got to do something. And then, we knew that his contract is going to be up December 31st. That was widely reported. Then we didn't hear anything for about 2 weeks. And then the way that they released the information that night on Thursday, it was a Thursday night, they released information through Kevin Baxter. There was two sentences. No one from the Galaxy was even quoted, and basically just said, "Hey, he's coming back as our president. They're not going to tell you how long his contract is. Not going to tell you anything." And it's just a slap in the face to us as fans. And that's when We looped in the other presidents and we said, hey, like, talk to your leadership boards. Something we have to do something. We're willing to boycott even the Rose Bowl game, but every game until he's gone. And we all kind of were in agreement. We talked to our boards. By Friday, we had all agreed, and then we put out our statement. Basically, 24 hours later, we wanted to release it at the same time Kevin Baxter did, so that they kind of saw how blindsided it can be to release that type of information at night. And they did it purposefully too. They did it in a way they knew it was going to be an unpopular decision. They knew it would be ridiculed, so they released it to Kevin Baxter without any direct quote from anybody, and just basically said, "Hey, if you don't like this as a fan, then take it or leave it." Basically, so we're deciding to leave it. We're not going to take it. And I think this is more than just supporters. We just have the power to be able to do anything or enact any change. I think any Galaxy fan who's been upset with leadership or has been upset with how the club's been run, if you're tired of season ticket holder perks being taken away, if you're tired of the product on the field, if you're tired of anything that's happened to this club in the last 10 years, take a stand, join us in this boycott. It's the only way we can get our message across because AEG doesn't care.
Yeah, and that honestly, that's the unfortunate thing because just being able to see, just hearing everything you said, right, and how there's a big transparency, right? I think anything when you invest your time and your money, especially when it comes to club or team or anything like that, you want like, hey, if I'm investing all this time and this money, at least let us know, hey, that this person or that you're not even communicating the right way and proper way. And to me, like just from the outside looking in, look, I don't, I go to the practices and all the games and stuff like that, but I don't see how the supporters groups is run or how the Galaxy team is run from the inside, but I see it from the outside looking in. To me, I've always seen that AEG doesn't put Galaxy's priorities, supporter or fans priorities in the forefront because they may be just too big organization, or maybe the Galaxy is just not a priority to them because they got Staples Center, they got Coachella, they got a plenty of other businesses under that umbrella that's AEG. And to me, I kind of feel like sometimes the Galaxy product and everything you're talking about gets put towards the back burner, right? And it's unfortunate, right? Because soccer here is growing in America. And there's just so many things, and obviously even this week you got the U.S. men's national team training down there at Dignity Health Sports Park and everything. So I'm just very surprised how they've gone and done it. And you talk about too, Chris Klein, obviously in December, the Galaxy were caught by or were fined because they cheated. Christian Pavone, I'm assuming here he was supposed to be a DP, wasn't a DP initially, came as a TAM player. I think what they got fined, this is right here, the team was fined $1 million and docked another $1 million in future allocation money. I think also more to that, the Galaxy cannot bring because of what happened. Chris Klein did. They cannot bring a play, or they cannot bring any summer transfers or anything like that. So all the moves that they have to do, they have to do it now. You can't get any big player to summer transfer. So that already puts so much pressure and added pressure. To that, and I'm assuming the frustration with what's going on and everything that you said. I'm just shocked that this is how it's run, and I'm shocked that this is how you guys have to go about it. But I think if power to you guys, because I think this is one way to do that and make a statement. I do want to ask what, because I heard there was a conversation or a meeting with, I think, Greg Vanny and I think Dan Beckerman. I don't know who else was there. Can you tell us what went on, what happened in the conversation there? Because look, I think also players and coaches are on a unique position too, because right, you're battling to win, to build a strong team and do all these things. But on one hand, you got your bosses who are Chris Klein, right? All these other guys. And the other side, you got the fans that are not going to go support your games, not necessarily because of you, but because of the leadership in previous years. So I think the players and coaches are kind of in a unique position, in an awkward position, I would say, because obviously you want the support of your fans, but you also understand what these fans want if that's the thing, right? They want, if you're a player, they want your boss fired because he hasn't been doing a good job, and it's just a weird. I just think it's an awkward situation for the players to be in, the coaches to be in. But let's talk about that meeting that happened. What happened there? And if you could just speak up a little bit louder so we can hear you a little bit more clear, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the meeting was Dan Beckerman, President AEG, Greg Vanny, and just the supporters relations team from the front office, who the people that we work with on a regular basis. They're like kind of our liaisons. Um, Basically, the meeting was about hearing us. I don't think Dan Beckerman was aware of how unpopular this decision is. He must have been aware of a little bit, but I don't think he was. I don't think he was fully aware of how poorly this decision was. And then Greg was kind of there to express that the team is, they're doing well. The team is in the right place. A few pieces away, he felt from being real contenders. He felt that the game against LAFC could have broken, either way. And we all showed support to Greg, and that we believe in his vision. But it's beyond just him, and it's beyond just what happened now. um, Dan Beckerman kind of put it in a place where it's like, Chris is really important. He knows the league. He's really important to the front office. And he believes that, where we are now is what is important, and why he decided to extend Chris. But to us, it's not acceptable. You have to look at the track record. You have to look at things that were done in the past. We brought up DP signings and things like that. We've paid a lot of players off. You can't say that AEG hasn't invested. They've invested money, but they've invested poorly, and that's at at the president's feet. All of that goes to the president. We've hired and fired coaches. We've hired and fired GMs, and the only constant has been Klein and Jovan, and that's what we're calling for. So that's basically what the meeting was about, just kind of to be heard. We've had that meeting before, never with Dan Beckerman, but we've had that meeting before with Chris Klein, just to hear us out. And the thing is that we get heard, and then nothing changes.
That to me, that's just the unfortunate part, and too, because it just goes to show where Dan Beckerman and I guess the AEG is at. Because look, if you look at what Chris Klein says right here, I think the article that Kevin Baxter wrote, he's coming back for an 11th season, including the MLS sanctions. So look, it seems like Dan Beckerman is a big fan, and also just goes to it tells me, look, that AEG, how they run their business, or how they do certain things is, when you said that, he said that Chris Klein is important. Well, I think he's important in the sense that getting dollar signs, and he knows the league. But also, I would also say there's so many new GMs, presidents out in the MLS. It's not like back in the day, right? Now there's so many new opportunities that you can get. You can go, and if you're the Galaxy or AEG, you can go and attract some of the best candidates out there. And I think it just seems a little lazy on their part, because they don't want to put the effort in to go hire someone else, or go get someone that actually knows the league. Because look, if you see the team across town, what they've been able to do and how they've been able to do it, there's no reason why you can't have two teams doing the same thing. It just, to me, it just seems that AEG is just being too lazy and not putting the effort in. And I think they need this pressure from you guys.
To
And,
that
and,
to
it's,
that
and
point,
Go ahead.
to that
Yep.
point, I asked specifically to that point if Garth Lagerwey was ever considered, and
If
he
what?
said no. If Garth Lagerwey was ever considered from Seattle, because he just went to Atlanta.
Mm. I don't
He
even
has a
think he
track.
knows who he is.
Well, he did. He does. He
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
And he has a track record of success at Seattle. I mean, he did amazing things at Seattle. They won CCL last year. Yeah, they missed the playoffs, but I'd missed the playoffs to get CCL. We've missed the playoffs and we haven't
Yeah.
gotten
Yeah. Of
anything for
course.
it. So I asked if Garth Lagerwey was ever considered, and he said no. So exactly, there's an apathy. There's a sort of just let things ride as they're going. I don't think they see a problem with how we've looked and how our image is and how it's been tarnished. And they're just kind of okay with it.
I think big companies like that just look at a spreadsheet, profit, net profit, net loss, right? So if they're profiting every year or whatever. But to me, it just, it goes like, right. I get that it's a business, right? Sports is a business, but I think a team like the Galaxy, a team that is here in LA, could be profiting so much more, with everything, with the way the league has grown. I think it just appears to me that the people running AEG, right? You can look at the spreadsheet, right? If it balances out, everything looks good. But I think I don't know. Look, I don't want to speak on the business sides, but they could be profiting so much more. Look, if Chris Klein is able to, make this team profit with a losing, not necessarily doing too much. Imagine if you got someone that actually knew what they were doing, were better at their job. That when we've seen Chris Klein, I think to me, Chris Klein has had his more than a fair share to prove his worth. But I think it looks like AEG's happy with him. Look, and you can't necessarily blame Chris Klein on all of this unless you want someone to force himself to step down. And I don't know if he would take that road. I don't think he doesn't seem the type of guy just to resign if his bosses still want him there. But if you just look at his track record, it's not been good, right? It's not been good, and this is why these things are happening. The shocking thing to me was last season when someone paid, I think it was a fan or supporters, you may know, but um, when they flew the plane across Dignity Health Sports Park, and that to me was like it doesn't get any worse than that when fans start to like. Well, I feel like this is pretty bad, but like last season when right before a game, I think it was on a Saturday or something. They five people invest money. I'm assuming it was thousands of dollars just to fly a sign over the stadium that said, Chris Klein out and Jovan Karaski out. I forgot the wording, what exactly was, but and to me, I wouldn't. This is just me personally speaking. I don't know if I would want to work at a job where people don't like me at my job, right? Because it's like it's just so weird. Sports. Look, I will say the sports fans sometimes are a little out of hand, and they speak their voice and everything as you should. But I think this is when it's been 11 seasons and you've been in a presidential role or in a leadership role, and I think also the pressure of what the team across town, what LAFC has done too. Let's talk a little bit about that. Them winning a championship, is that more for you guys to add more pressure on what? And obviously, not saying that's what led to this, but like you see what the team did, they won. Um, was that just like what we need change? We need to make this happen. We need to force them and let our voices be heard.
I'd say no, especially for me. I'd say no. If they lose to Philadelphia and all things are the same, it would our position would be the same.
Or still be the same.
The way that this went down with things happening in 2019, the cheating and then not telling us what's going on, regardless of who's MLS champ right now, our position would still be the same. It still looks bad on us as a club, and our club has been tarnished regardless of what happens to another team. Now, obviously, having another team in the city and them being so successful does highlight and show how bad the club has been run.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and all of that happened under his watch. I had a meeting with Chris Klein in 2015 or 2016 when the club was announced, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing about this? You can make this team dead in the water if you are successful and we keep winning, because that's we're still winning at that time. If you're successful and keep winning, we can make LAFC dead in the water." But we did the opposite. We had a wooden spoon year in 2017. We continued to digress. We got Zlatan, which was great, but we didn't put a team around him to win. All of that just sort of coalesced into where we are now. And I would say that them winning last year has nothing to do with our decision to do this. It just highlights the fact that we're being run so poorly.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And you make a great point. It just puts everything, just it just emphasizes everything, of how this team has been run. So let's say this. What's your guys' position? Obviously, say nothing changes in the next month. Let's just go month by month. Nothing changes. I'm assuming everybody's still not planning on going to the games or anything. How long are you guys willing to not go to games or continue this boycott? Like, I'm just curiously asking.
I can't speak for every fan or every supporter in the SGs, but uh, all the leadership we all said we're ready to sit out the season. We're ready to the leadership for all five supporters groups are ready to sit out the season, empty the stands. Obviously, there people may show up. I think people are going to show up for the Rose Bowl game because there's people that already bought tickets. I don't begrudge anyone who decides to go, but I think everybody in leadership is of the same mind, and we are willing to sit out the entire season if changes don't get made.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because yeah, it's gonna be we'll have to see when that winds up happening. just with everything, and it's crazy because it's just the way the league has grown, and now, like I said earlier, that this Apple deal and everything, and to me, it would like, look, it just AEG. I think if AEG doesn't want to prioritize what this club is doing, I think why not sell the club, right? Why not sell the club that's someone that because there's a lot of interest out there and stuff, but I don't even know if they're thinking that way. But I think whenever you have this kind of like it's not, everything's not sinking, right? The supporters should be behind the players in the front office, right, and everything like that. It just seems like there's too much turmoil. Things are getting pulled from different directions, and I think it just makes it tricky too as well because I'm assuming, look, with whatever happened, you obviously you still want your club to do good and have a successful season, but it's just been on for too long for what they've done. What do you, outside obviously of this, what are you expecting outside of, like, doing the boycott and everything? What else are you guys expecting from the club?
Um, a change in communication. Their lack of communication is kind of a slap in the face to fans, not just supporters, but fans, but even to us. Uh, I think communication, even within the organization between departments, is awful. I mean, just we can see that as someone who works sort of behind the scenes with stuff. You can ask any of the other presidents. Like, one department won't talk to the other. Will ask for certain things, and then, or ask a question, and then they'll ask to get back to us, and then they won't get back to us because this department didn't respond, or it's just bad all around. I just think the whole structure and culture in the front office is rot. It's been decaying for 10 years, and I think that there's only one explanation for that. There's one constant in all that.
Yeah, which is it's just it's unfortunate. Look, I didn't know things were this bad. I saw things and did things, like I said earlier. Like, I've never I don't know the ins and outs of how the club has been run, and especially in the communication. I think also, if you don't have a communication with your supporters, and it's bad, and it just it's like you're only going to go as far as you can go, right? Because communication is everything, especially when they need you guys. That's the thing.
Yeah,
No, any team, like, right? We got the Lakers, the Dodgers, or whatever, you name it, right? Or, like, big clubs as well, like, Barcelona, Real Madrid, or anything like that. Right, the players is what makes it, but it's not. They're nothing without the fans and the spectators and everybody that watches it. And it just seems like just simple business. They're not taking care of the customers, and for whatever reason, it's just it's insane. And I think, yeah, big changes need to be made, and hopefully, what you're doing and what you guys are doing, because look, I think anytime you guys do something like this or boycott, you tend, look, no one wants to go against their club, no one wants to go against their team, but I think you guys are at a point that, look, we've tried every solution, we tried everything, we still haven't gotten what we asked for, and especially the transparency thing and everything that's been going on. It comes to a point that enough is enough, and you gotta be willing to stand for something, right? And
I,
collectively being able to stand and talk about that, how difficult it was to do this, because I'm assuming not everybody, I don't know, you can tell me, but I don't know if not everybody agrees with the decision, because some are season ticket holders, some still want to support their team.
Yeah, just real quick on that last one. I just wanted to add on that the people that we work with, they're great. The supporters relations team, they're great, but I just don't think they're listened to. And sort of like us, they got their head against the wall, trying to bang through and try to get through to some people. But yeah, I would just say that there's along the other lines of the front office, there's so much turnover. People leave, good people come and they will go. We let them go. People come and they leave immediately. There's people that don't stay in positions for longer than a year. So there's just a whole culture of just, it's just a lot of people there getting a paycheck, and then just sort of they either leave, like they don't fall in love with the club, or, whatever it is. You want people that are there and passionate about the team. As far as the decision made to do this, um, so I'd say that it was very difficult, especially for me. I've been coming to games since 2007 as a season ticket holder. I miss like one or two games a year for whatever reason, wedding or funeral, or something big usually. It wasn't difficult. It was difficult. It wasn't easy to make. I'm gonna not like missing games. I hope we don't get to that point. But I would say that the people that don't agree, some people think we're entitled or we're spoiled. This is not just about supporters, and we're not even asking for anything. We're not asking that we put one of our own as president. We're not asking that, a specific person become president. We're just asking for competent leadership. And as far as us being spoiled, I mean, yeah, maybe we are spoiled. We were the team that won 5 championships, but we're so far from that. Our club's been tarnished and has been diminished and looks so bad. What I want now is for us to get back to that place where, no winning isn't everything, but where we're winning and we're enjoying the team. We have something to be proud of. There's nothing to be proud of the last 10 years of this team. We've had our worst season ever in 2017. We've missed the playoffs pretty consistently. And the playoffs that the games that we have gone to the playoffs, the years that we have gone to the playoffs, we haven't looked like we're contending. So it's not easy. And if you're tired, if you're a fan and you're tired of what's happened to our team and the club, you stand with us. But if you don't, no one's mad at you. We're not upset with you. I want this to be bigger than just the supporters. This is everyone at the Galaxy. Anybody who's a fan of the Galaxy. I want them all to see this and say, hey, this is our opportunity to take part in something, to enact change. It's something we love.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think to me that's very powerful. Look, and I think it's very tough, to do this because like I said, it's just so many different things, and obviously not everyone's gonna want to agree with the boycott. And you're putting yourself out there. Look, it's not an easy thing to do, and look, I understand it. Even me doing this podcast, not everybody agrees, just what I got to say. But this is what this is how I like to express myself and share my opinion. And if you don't agree, you don't agree. If you do agree, you do agree. I think it's a bold thing that you guys are doing. We'll see if there's change. If not, I just want to wish you all the best and everything what happens with this, because I think it's very powerful, it's very moving, and just goes to show how much you really care about your club, how much you really care about this, and you're willing to sacrifice. You're not going to games. You putting yourself out there, doing everything that you're doing because you want to change, and you not don't like how things have happened. And I think things like this are needed, especially in sports, especially in life. Andrew, anything else you'd like to add right here before we wrap things up?
No, I appreciate the time. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate you and your coverage. Keep doing what you're doing. We need more independent soccer supporters like yourself.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Hopefully everything does work out with you guys and everything. So I'm definitely gonna check on you guys, see what happens. So, guys, this is Andrew Alesana, president of LARS. We appreciate him for having him on and everything he said, everything he shared. So, yeah, if you guys definitely want to get in touch with them, check out LARS. I think on Instagram. You can direct message them. You guys can follow the updates and see what they're doing, how they go about it, and ultimately what ends up happening with the Galaxy here in 2023. So for Andrew, this is Gio. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye, everybody.